Greetings, fellow Dota fans. It's time for Faceless versus Mineski. Best of 3 showdown. Winner of this match is going to advance to Boston. The loser, they get a second shot versus Warriors Gaming Unity. We have a draft already underway, so you don't have to look at our ugly mugs. You can check out the picks and bans, which are just now kicking off after we get done being eaten by Pac-Man the Haas. God, I love that. That is the best meme.
It is.
And it's so appropriate because he is always flapping his mouth.
Oh man, you had to go there.
So Faceless on the dire side here. Mineski will be on the Radiant. And we talked a lot about the Undying ban, the Ogre ban. And so far Ogre has been removed by Faceless. First pick does go to Mineski.
Well, you gotta consider the Jules Ogre as well. We talked a lot about the XY one, but in the end, Jules has been able to find either a mechanism or a pipe or some other ridiculous item at such an absurd timing, thanks to just his overall farm speed. He ended up that one game that went over 80 minutes. He ended up with like 300 last hits on the Ogre Magi, so definitely pulling his own weight on the hero, and that's a hefty one for that scale. But all the same, that does leave the Undying in the pool and Mineski with first pick. Lumi, do you think they could actually go for that as their own?
I mean, I think Ogre and Undying are fairly similar, at least in the way that you play the early game. You walk into a lane, you start bullying people, but obviously don't transition nearly as well. I think Ogre, like you said, farms much better, Undying does not. And I'm not sure how many games Undying of Mineski has, so maybe they don't go for it because it's not a comfort pick, but they might just do it just to block out Faceless.
Yeah, I don't really view the Undying as like a go-to Mineski hero by any means. How do they want to open this draft though? I mean, this is a team that used to run a lot of drow strategies as well. We haven't really seen as much of them this qualifier. The Naga is available, and they did ban the Timbersaw. I honestly think they could first pick Naga. It doesn't mean it has to be a carry. It doesn't mean it's going to go mid or off lane or safe lane. I feel like they can run it in a variety of different ways.
Shadow Demon could still be a pretty effective opener, no matter what Black goes for. If it's an agility carry that scales well, the illusions are going to be quite potent, and of course you're going to be able to enhance the effectiveness of like a Naga pick. They end up going for Ara's selection though. They go for the offlane Slardar. I don't think we're going to be seeing any role shenanigans where this could be like a Windlay support Slardar or any other core role set. Ralphie just plays it really well, and I expect him to just mostly focus. Well, he might play in the safe lane instead of the offlane, but mostly focus on his own progression there and look to initiate the fights.
Pretty strong opening pick, because with the Slardar you generally pair it up with a Life Stealer, and one of the Faceless' best win rate hero is the Drow Ranger, which not sure if you want to pick Drow into Slardar and Life Stealer, two heroes that could get up to your face quite easily.
Interesting to see the Warlock pick into a Slardar. Amp damage just destroys the Golem, but they clearly value just having the Fatal Bonds and the hero's team fight potential, even so.
Yeah, the way Nuts plays it, you're still going to be looking at the combination of Fatal Bonds, and just even the initial impact of Chaotic Offering really setting the tone for the fight, but they need some AoE damage to go on top of that. For now, the AoE decay is going to be sufficient, but I expect to actually see some good mid damage, maybe Mirana.
So what are good like Undying counters? We used to see Gyros picked a lot just to flack down the zombies. Like a sniper is pretty good at sniping the Tombstone, but
Ursa's not bad actually, just being able to overpower the Tombstone ever since they changed it to based on a number of attacks.
If you're using your overpower just to kill Tombstone, I think Ursa's actually not. I mean, don't you rather go on heroes, right? Use the Ursa?
Oh, of course, but like in this position, like all you have to do is walk up to it, take it down, and you get this huge chunk of gold, and Undying is half worthless. Like, his decay is huge, but if you're actually putting points into Tombstone and then you just lose it in 4 or 5 seconds, then you're not really getting value out of the hero.
I think I like more of what you suggested previously, ranged heroes or heroes that could actually take the fight into a different location, right? Basically, when you ult with Warlock and Tombstone and Undying, you're basically saying, okay, here is the area that we want to fight in. And Mineski with Slardar, who could reposition quite easily with Sprint, OD with that Blink, as well as Hurricane Pike. I kind of like this way to go a little bit more.
I mean, their late game's already fantastic here with these two opening picks. Interesting to see them not go for the Naga when presented with it. I wonder if they're almost afraid that Faceless have a strat prepared, because why else would you leave it in the pool? Now, it is worth mentioning, Faceless do run the Naga as well, and we've seen a lot of Undying Naga tri-lanes be extremely potent, so I wouldn't even be shocked if Mineski consider banning it if they don't want to run it.
Yeah, that could be quite interesting. They're first going to just ban the lane counter and the sniper. They want Raging Potato to have a really good start in the mid. I was actually not sure if we were going to see that many ODs in this matchup because of the prevalence of the Nyx Assassin, but because it's prevalent enough to be a phase 1 ban, it does make the OD a very desirable pick.
Yeah, I do want to quickly mention, for those who are interested, the China qualifiers are also well underway. We're into our second winner bracket final, and we do have Lyrical as well as Nahaz casting that over at twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit 4. So if you want to check out some Chinese Dota, we just got done a very crazy throne snipe to finish out the last series. So I won't spoil it more beyond that, but definitely keep tabs on that during the downtime. And with that, ban number 4 for Mineski. Still need these supports, and even though they don't have, I guess it could be a support slot R, but more likely the RR hero, not a single support ban from Faceless here in the second stage.
Yeah, they're a little bit more worried about the Lifestealer. Like I mentioned, the combination is great. Great against Undying as well, even, well into their early to mid game. Looks like we're taking out a Void. Have we seen Darrow actually play the Void?
Not much this patch. It's definitely not as common as it used to be, but Black has played it.
Well, there was the whole Black Void game yesterday.
Yeah.
Which he played it in the off lane, but he played it basically like a core. He went for, I think it was Vlad's, and that was straight into Diffusal Manta. So he got a little utility to help them Roche as they were dire side, but definitely still a chance they'd run the Void. They do have OD as a pseudo solution, but not the best on its own.
Yo, the offlaner that we haven't talked about at all is Tidehunter. Like, one of the few teams that actually still pick it. And, every time I see Warlock plus Tidehunter together, you're like, that's a very cooldown dependent team, but they layer their ult so well that it doesn't matter, it feels like. I
mean, I'm already thinking, do they consider the Morphlane here with the Undying pick? It's a black hero. Ice 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 can also play it. The hybrid Tombstone is great if it's like the utility Morphlane. Mineski do have decent catch with the Slardar, but I wouldn't say it's the best just yet.
I don't think Tidehunter is really worth talking about to the extent that he's not giving a big strategic advantage to either side. Like, you're not really worried about banning the Tide. Even if they pick it like a 4th pick, and they're going to be able to succeed with it. It's not, the draft doesn't succeed because of the Tidehunter. It just fits in really well, and it's going to contribute a lot, but it's these wild cards you're worried about.
So, who's the cores here? Or the core, I guess.
I think Jakiro mid, actually. Yeah, against OD, you could just poke him with the inner fire, the
Does
liquid fire.
Jakiro just straight up win that lane?
It depends, obviously, but if you are getting any support whatsoever, I think you can do really well.
Obviously, Faceless's draft looks like a disgusting 5-man push in the mid game. I think that goes without saying. And Fatal Bonds is also really good with Jakiro because he has so much AoE.
Yeah, we're gonna see like a Luna for Black, like something that's really fast at pushing, something that can enable them to take down towers.
I mean, they need, if they want to take this later than like 25 minutes, they definitely need a hard carry, because right now, Mineski has that covered in spades already.
I like Luna much more than Morphling. I feel like that both Slaughter and OD does decently.
I'm still thinking Drow for Faceless.
Yeah, Drow actually sounds the best out of all.
And that would allow Jakiro to slaughter OD, where the matchup could be like kind of back and forth depending on the skill usage. No, with a Drow or a Jakiro will just wreck.
Makes them like everyone a bit stronger heading into late game. But we'll see.
Actually, who suggested an offensive lane?
I still think Faceless could also run Naga if they wanted to. They've tri-laned it. It could be a Jabs hero mid as well.
It doesn't really fit with the Jakiro though, I don't think. I mean, you can follow up the Song of the Siren with Ice Path and the Macro
I think that's a pretty good combo.
And that is a really good combo. I'm just worried that like if their focus is pushing and they just want to really make sure that the Undying and Jakiro make the most of their own value, that you don't look to combo with a hero that plays so
How about Alk? He's good with Undying, I guess. I don't know, I'm trying to think, what is Faceless? They've run the black Morphlane. So we've mentioned Morphlane, we've mentioned Drow, Naga, kind of a slight possibility. I just threw the Alka out there. Anything else that you guys think Faceless is considering?
I mean, if it's a tempo, something like a Slark, that could kind of look. I mean,
Slark is good against Slardar.
Traditionally, he's not very good at tower pushing, right? But your supports have you in cover. You want a hero that could apply a lot of pressure, because these supports, they're good at pressuring early, but in an actual fight, they don't. I mean, they're clunky and they're very immobile. So I think balancing out with a core that could jump around the fights might not be the worst idea.
They might just pick up Ice pick here. No,
Lumi.
Go with the Slark. Okay.
Lumi, the Prophet.
I mean, I've been casting these teams for
is
like
in the
2
house.
months, so.
Yeah. And it
It
makes a
is
lot
kind of,
sense, too.
it makes a lot of sense. It does feel kind of weird when you see the first three. It's like, he's not really a pushing carry, but it gives them that late game insurance.
Exactly, and he's already going to have the tower advantage. Like, there's no way that Mineski are going to be breaking towers harder than Faceless with this draft in the context of this draft. So you don't actually have to have a pushing hero. You have to have a hero that takes advantage of the farm.
Speaking of Alk, well,
This is a safe lane Alk, right?
I mean, it's hard to justify
I think it's
it.
mid Alk and safe lane OD,
Yeah.
if anything, but
Okay.
we'll see.
It's hard to justify it because you lack the bounty rune aspect. But if they feel like they have no rune control, then it's kind of give or either or. You
It's
can
also
still run a
it's
safe
also
lane.
counter push for a team that is very little. Just drop the acid spray. It doesn't really stop the push on its own. Armlet Alk is a decent front liner. We have seen a little support Slardar, so I'm not. But presumably they already have their 3 cores here.
So, a few really good aspects about the Alchemist here is if he comes online and gets, obviously, the Radiance and Manta style, he's going to be able to push out lanes really well so that Faceless don't constantly have the Creequilibrium advantage and can just break a tower with a fight. The second aspect is that a lot of Faceless's damage is over time and very gradual. So Alchemist's Chemical Rage heal, as well as the Voodoo Restoration, is going to be able to deal with that really nicely. I mean, worst case scenario, the Alchemist is about half HP. The OD imprisons him, has 4 more seconds for the regen to kick in.
By the
So-
way, sorry to cut you off. One awesome thing that you also could do is you see that tombstone being dropped down? You just run your Alk in there and just start farming zombies.
That doesn't work anymore, dude.
It doesn't work anymore?
No,
You don't
no,
get
they
it?
don't- they don't get
Oh,
bounty.
man. They took it out last patch?
It was quite a while ago, actually.
Okay, my bad. I have not been playing my Undying, so.
10 seconds remaining.
All the same, though, it's really nice just to be able to survive the early game. If you can get back to level 6, you're going to be in a good position to survive all their damage output, and they're just looking for a few good team fights. I actually think this is going to be the mid-game draft that I was hoping for when we kind of went into this matchup. It's going to be able to explode and farm in the Alchemist. The OD is a really heavy hitter when he's not controlled, and look at how many stuns you're up against.
I love that Disruptor Slardar duo. You just amp somebody, you always have the vision for Glimpse. Maybe not against Slark, but also is a Slark counter with the Glimpse and the Static Storm. Can't Dark Pact that off. So I like this as it gives them, between that and OD late game Hex, I feel like they actually have the control to take. If this needs to go late game, I think Mineski can handle Slark late game for sure. Whereas before, I wasn't entirely confident they could.
I can't blame them for banning out the Elder Titan. Fits really well with the Witch Doctor and offers a lot of good counter push, but Disruptor is going to be so good against Slark here.
He's not really a go-to support pick, so honestly, like I don't really think Faceless were expecting it necessarily, but it certainly fits. What is that last pick for Faceless now? They're looking for a mid, I think, and it's
okay.
all right. So here comes the push, boys.
Ice
Liquid.
Jakiro.
Liquid Fire, the offlane Jakiro. We used to see this a lot.
Are they going to try land this and leave Slark to 1v1 the Slider?
Probably.
At least you 2-on-2, right? At the very
Yeah,
least.
definitely. You have to have the Undying bottom and probably the Warlock too. Oh, this is going to be a very interesting game.
I mean, this is just classic Faceless, though, right? Like they open the draft Warlock Undying. You assume that's their support duo. But you don't necessarily expect them to pick up these cores, Pugna, Jakiro. Like,
Well, classic in the unpredictability, but
Yes,
not
yes.
classic in the sense that they end up here. Because generally they end up with
no,
a little bit more
exactly.
late-game.
Classic that they leave it open and then they can go
Yeah.
they can pivot any direction they want.
Okay.
It's going to be very interesting. The Pugna, I do believe it is at least a soft counter to the OD in terms of the Nether Ward versus all that mana cost. The range on this Nether Ward is so absurd that the OD is going to have to go for a BKB like second item, if not third.
So whose draft do you like, guys? We've got Mineski with a much more standard, straightforward draft. Faceless going very unorthodox. We've seen a few of these picks, but this overall composition is quite fresh.
It's all about the lanes, like pretty much what we expected. If the lane succeeds for Faceless on bottom and they're able to just start snowballing to breaking towers, and then Black gets all that money to put towards big Slark items, then I think that Faceless will run this game over.
Yeah, not enough data point for me either. I have not seen how good Faceless is running at kind of a strat that's meant to end the game in 20 minutes. I know they're very good at their drought strats, but Pugna, well, we'll see.
Hey Rob, where's our game sound? Gift, please. He's on it. Don't worry, guys. So yeah, early smoke. They do drop down an Observer Ward in the mid lane, as well as one up top. Are going to see Mineski just lurking near the Ancients. It looks like it will be the mid Alk, the off lane RR Slardar, and that would leave us with a safe lane OD for Miracle. Already has 8 tangos picked up.
All right, so this is actually very surprising for me because I expected Jay to be playing the OD, which he has played a lot more of, and Miracle to be playing the Radiance carry. But we're going to see a change up here in that Raging Potato. Jay is going to be picking up the mid. He's got Stick, Stout, and Quelling to start off against the Pugna, which should allow him to sustain and get some good guaranteed CS.
And it does look like Faceless are considering that full-on tri-lane here with Nuts and XY lurking down near that bottom rune. It does appear the Slark will be getting his 1v1 as Jules is out in front and Ice. Flaps his way in, a little poke, but man, these are tanky supports and cores here between Undying, Jakiro, and Warlock. No easy kills to be had.
So this mid matchup we've seen quite a bit. In fact, in these qualifiers, Mushi generally playing the Pugna versus other ALK players, and I think the Pugna just wins every single time.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to win it out. You're going to see Salves ferried out pretty early on to make sure that he can sustain. All he needs to do is get to level 6, though, and then it doesn't matter really what happened at the beginning of the lane. The one thing I got to wonder about, though, is Faceless have shown that they're capable of controlling stacks really well. Fnatic did it pretty good against Mineski, too. When there's going to be pretty important stacks to build up the Alchemist farm through Acid Spray, is Faceless going to be in a position to contest it?
So they're not running a tri-lane. It's just going to be a dual lane here as well.
So I think this gives more to Black, but it obviously gives less to Ice. So it's just a trade-off here, but I think 2-1-2, like Lumi said, is actually quite effective.
I mean, I think Jakiro's actually going to get enough. Undying is such a strong support by himself.
It's hard to judge the metric of enough for this hero, because like he can go for so many different items, and like what is the expected level of farm for him? I mean, obviously, like we used to see the Yule Scepter from before, but even just going for like an aura push build with like drums or mech can really enable the team.
Yeah, the early Veil grab was popular. Yeah. They do have quite a bit of magic damage if he wants to go for that. I don't think it'll be his first item, but definitely could be in the mix. So we see RR manages to secure level 2 in the off lane. He's doing okay. Ice about to grab his. In the mid lane, Pugna getting a slight advantage early, but Raging Potato did get the first bounty run, so he's in okay shape. And meanwhile, Jules just farming up some newts. So Slark free farming, ALK doing a little bit worse than Pugna. OD a little bit behind the Slark. So slight early farm advantage for Faceless, but it's fairly mild for now.
So the big thing is Warlock is going to get quite a few levels
Raging's about to die mid, or one of the mids about to die. Japs had to fairy fire, and Raging walks back. Yeah,
they're both just kind of manning up on one another with the stick and the fairy fire in the back pocket.
These heroes normally don't man fight this early.
Yeah.
But Pugna is squishy, and ALK has a very mediocre armor.
Jules is trying to backstab, either going for a kill or the courier. I mean, Japs is so low that something's going to get sniped.
Something.
Yeah, exactly. One way or another, he's going to be able to get something out of this
this looks like a first blood.
The question is if it's in time, because of course he is going to be running on that Invis rune in just a little while.
He's got a lot of time.
Well, the creep wave is pushing in. Maybe they can pincer him at the tier 1 tower.
Oh, Potato's way too low.
Oh, he's going
for
it.
Go for it. Has the Decrepify, but that's not going to save him. He goes for the blast turnaround. One more lightning tick. See you later. Jules with the drive-by. The Raptor emerges victorious, and they actually needed that because all of a sudden, OD is getting doubled up compared to the enemy Slark. That liquid fire making it very difficult to last hit in the lane.
Yeah, and a big aspect of that is that when you have this aggressive dual position, you don't actually put a rune on the bottom. You realize that you're going to already have the roamer, the 4-position support kind of in this general area, so you don't always have to have 24/7 vision on this, but they don't see the Invis rune. It costs them their first blood, and it's going to give a hell of a start to Jay in the mid.
RR trying to mess with the creep equilibrium here. Actually, might do a full drag all the way back to the tower. He hasn't gotten much since that level 2. So ALK getting 2 bounty runes, and you have a first blood for Mineski. But to make up for it, Faceless are farming better. Overall, slight advantage for Mineski early on in terms of gold, but Faceless getting the better of it as far as experience goes.
The reason this drag is so important is that because Warlock can't pull. Warlock is extremely experience dependent. The 2-1-2 was supposed to set him up for a really well-timed level 6, and we're actually going to see that he's going to be further behind thanks to RR's movement here.
About to crack level 3 now, and very importantly, that 4-minute rune about to spawn. You can see Slardo was thinking about a move that direction, but they're just going to have to hope it's bottom. And it's actually regen, so 3rd bounty rune won't be the charm. At least not for Mineski.
Still, he's going to get level 6 on the Alchemist very quickly, and that's with the Soul Ring, he's always going to be able to spam out his spells and continue to sustain. I actually don't see this Alchemist dying anytime soon.
They don't have the best ganking heroes either. Unless you have a Yules on Jakiro, like how do you really start a gank? To Crepify into Pounce?
Yeah, something weak like that. Unless he overextends himself and is just wailing on the tier 1 at some point. Maybe they can see that he's overextended and get a tombstone down.
You know, watching this game for the past couple minutes, I wonder what exactly Faceless is gonna, or when they're gonna start striking, right? Like, they have this early game lineup. Are we waiting for them critical level 7s before start pushing? Or maybe some mechs? Or some pushing kind of items?
I think it's like you said, they're very level dependent. And they are winning pretty heavily in the farm war. Pugna is already spamming the mid tower just passively. He forced out the glyph. He took about a third of the tower's health and damage. And Slardar not getting much in the offlane, so I actually feel like they have a lot of time before Mineski is really going to be a threat. Like, there's no blink coming soon for him. Alk is doing decently, but not snowballing totally out of control.
I think the stash items around the Undying are very transparent of what their next move is. XY is going to pick up the Observer, it's the smoke, and try to get vision on the Alk stacks, the ones that would generally be in the Western Radiant jungle, and that's going to force movement. Yeah, they'd love to say, okay, at level 7, at level 8, or at this item, we can start pushing. It's more like, hey, there's probably something high value that we have to take care of, and they're going to try to force more map control due to the Alchemist.
There are actually no stacks.
Not anymore, because he took it all.
And there's the Ancients that are blocked, so they can prevent future stacks, though, and that is equally important.
It's just a general game plan that for the next, like, 10 minutes, they need to take control of the Radiant jungle, otherwise Mineski is going to get out of hand.
Let's see. Invis, and that means 3 for 4 here, except
No.
Black says, nah, what are you doing, Alk?
Well, now we know why he's in Dark Reef.
This one's for me.
Bottom lane Miracle. You know, the one thing that we haven't mentioned is that because Miracle's on this defensive tri lane, his level is going to be pretty starved. And for an OD, you need to get to your max Astral.
They might make a go here on Ice Ice Ice. Cass going to come in, and they do have the Glimpse available. Not up to use it. He's just a bit too tanky, I think. They'll banish Jabs instead. Not even going for the Pugna.
And R actually died up top. The Slark was able to kill him off with the help of the Warlock, just underestimating his damage potential.
Oh, this push is looking scary. Jabs is out of mana, but tower is already low enough. They don't have another glyph, and
there's no way you deny this either.
Beautiful play by Jabs, and now they look to engage, but he is out of mana. They are going to banish the Jakiro, but Jules just dropping so low, they actually run away 2v3, have to TP out Ninja Boogie and forfeit the tower. My god, Faceless is very strong in this stage of the game. And that is probably the best way to get control of the Alk's jungle, is taking that tier 1 down.
Exactly. That's the first step. Next is going to be some very advanced wards. I expect Mineski to be picking up a lot of sentries to try to get that back under control. And they're going to have to rotate RR before Blink. That's another big thing, is RR just died up top. He's probably going to die in 1 or 2 more fights. So every bit of farm he can get now, before he has to rotate, is going to be very important.
Well, off to a good start here for Faceless. The Alk, though, farming decently, but almost matching him is Black. 1,500 gold bagged, and this is kind of, when we previewed the group stage in the beginning of the qualifiers, this was basically what we talked about. Faceless is they tend to run 4 very aggressive heroes, and then Black just sits behind them and farms for late game, and they're certainly setting him up to do that with this kind of a lineup, and certainly with this kind of a start.
well, we all know that the push is coming on the mid lane. Jabs coming back with a full mana pool, and that tower's already dead, almost. I mean,
Between Liquid Fire and Blast, like, my god, how do you actually defend your towers?
I mean, they could glyph the next blast. I hope they do. They do, and I don't think they could deny in time or anything.
Yeah, that's the problem, is they didn't hit it beforehand, so he doesn't have enough time. It is going to be killed off for sure. And up top, it'll be, you know, a little back and forth. But
This is before the Aether Lens, guys, which we all know is coming.
unless he goes for the Veil himself, because the mech is actually going to be coming out for the Jakiro, so this opens up the Pugna to a few different options. Could go for the Veil, could go for the Aether, obviously just focusing on early game items.
And until Mineski to get a blink on Slardar, I don't really see how they can threaten to stop that push. It's like a pretty safe siege, and you don't have any instant initiation. So they lose the tier 1 mid. Faceless, I guess, in good news for Mineski, are not very good at roshing. It's quite slow work for them. And look at this. Miracle has been forced into a Hood of Defiance on OD.
I think they must have started, like, as soon as the game began, that he decided that that was his first item. Like, I don't think this is like this is hurting a little bit too much, I should go for this item. I think he wants to go for pipe for his team.
This is like the OD equivalent of having to go like BKB first clinks or something.
But if suddenly your team is immune to half
worse than
the
BKB
enemy's
first clicks.
But if suddenly your team is immune to half the enemy's damage for most of the fight, like, it's actually really strong. Like, they could fight around this pipe really well, I think. And obviously the safe lane farmer is going to be the better one to put it on.
Well, I guess they feel they need something to withstand the onslaught, and they do have an ALK, so it's not like Miracle is the only carry this game.
I think this is like showing Mineski's head. They realize this game is going to come down to like 1 or 2 big 5v5s in the next 10 minutes, and they're just prepping for it.
And those are certainly coming with Ice 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 already activating the buckler, getting that chip damage in on the tier 2 bottom. Giant swaths of pink hitting the minimap here.
I mean, OD is actually not that bad at, killing the creeps, so they're pushing it out. In fact, there's an Astral onto Jakiro.
They don't have death core. They can't go on him.
The Tomb's gonna fall down, and Ninja Boogie might actually die here.
Looks like he'll be okay for now.
Miracle tries to kill the Tombstone, but it's very well protected by the 2 heroes. He goes back for it.
He already used it.
Okay. Alright, they should be able to get it now. Healing back up.
That's delicious gold for Miracle. Happy about that, but not happy about this. Jab's coming in. There's the cast. Very nice bounce. It goes right to Ice Ice Ice. Hits all 3 heroes. Clean disengage. While meanwhile in the top lane, Black is going to get caught out here. Or sorry, Jules is going to get caught out here by Black. Quick pick for him. And that siege continues in earnest. Just Akiro and Pugna tag teaming these towers. Now that Decrepify and the Ward, further irritation. The tower is going to get glyphed. Liquid Fire is going to kill this thing off almost certainly. One more auto attack certainly will be enough. And the Pugna last hits it. So Mineski just under siege in every direction. This prompts the RRTP, but Ice 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 prepping with the Ice Path. They're going to look for the play here, but the counter initiation as he drops the rock, forces them on their heels. Miracle, nice pipe, bro, but not nice enough. Oh, maybe it is. Keeps him alive for now.
Yeah,
Jazz trying to chase him out. They're just so damn slow. And a great crush from a kind of a clipping angle. RR able to prevent that chase. He does make it out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Black's already on strike. He does have 3k gold in bank, so
that Radiance is coming soon. It's looking like it's going to be like neck and neck if they get the Radiance in time right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as long as you're picking it up before your racks are down, you're going to be able to get some good value out of it. And getting that kill on Ice 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 is going to get some nice gold back to the OD, which, as we mentioned, is already behind in items. He has to start with this hood or this pipe progression, which shows that he knows how much damage this Pugna is going to be doing with the Nether Ward.
He's going for drums now.
Yeah, I think this is just a really good mix of durability as well as still putting out some good damage in the fights.
Black now with the Shadow Blade, looking to ramp up the aggression with all these towers falling. Slark has a lot more room to roam.
They know the smoke pops.
And he's going to find Jules. There's the pounce, the follow-up. Dark Pact is there, but he gets caught in the kinetic field. The Static Storm, I think he just goes down here. No, the Soul Rip, the Mech, the Tomb as well. They're going to keep Black alive. He finishes off the Disruptor. He looks for a bit more. Pouncing now into RR. An extra kill for him, and Black, I think, just makes it out. He's going to Shadow Blade away. Will disjoint that last auto attack or two, and now they will zone their retreat with the macro pyre, while meanwhile Miracle does find jabs in the Pugna. Instant buyback from the Slaughter. They want to get more out of this. There is a banish available. Miracle is going to use it on the Undying, and meanwhile on the side of the fight they've also managed to stun Ice Ice Ice, and RR follows it up with the crush, so they'll get him as well. It's a fairly expensive buyback for RR.
But look at Raging Potato's goal. It's got 4,300. That's Relic and then some. I think Mineski is actually angling the game in such a way that they will hold the next couple of fights.
Yeah, the concern is that RR no longer has anywhere near Blink Gold. The buyback isn't actually that costly at 12.5 minutes into the game, but it's still going to be a setback, and that is the thing they're lacking, is that initiation.
If only you could pull your ally a Blink.
Yeah, not going to happen here, unfortunately.
Sprinting in our suddenly support Slardar, throwing out the amp, but some very poor heroes, guys. Looking at these supports, and especially the Witch Doctor.
I mean,
could be food for the Slark.
Do you guys think Al could just solo frontline this and then hold down push by himself?
Fatal Bonds, you've got Slark, who's pretty good at bursting single targets later in the game. Maybe a Veil coming.
Oh, Ninja Boogie trying to dodge away, but Black's already on him, and yeah, he's gonna be dead here. Most likely his ward will get found as well. And I think Mineski needs to retreat on the high ground because they're not holding this tier 2.
Yeah.
Faceless just straight back down the mid lane as the Witch Doctor falls.
Ooh, Radiance is down.
Down to starting gold is what Witch Doctor's at now. The problem is they're up against a Shadow Blade Slark too, so you have to spam all these sentries. The only safe place now is your own Radiant base.
Okay.
Crush is there, connects on 3 with the Static Storm follow-up. Beautifully done with the Golem there to disengage. They pop the mech. Suddenly they're all at full HP, and Ice 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 even moves in against this. Good Alk stun, and now a low HP Slark. Forced to retreat a bit. The Tombstone being protected for now. They give Miracle the sucky, but he self-banishes. They gotta kill this Tomb. Raging Potato marches in. He goes deep. And he will get the kill on the tomb, but it comes at cost. They lose their OD. Black just picks them up. They're all still healthy here on Faceless. But the tower's almost dead.
Raging's back to, he's got his ult back on. He's got his Radiance.
They just got the tower for that and 2 kills.
Raging Potato's gonna push forward. Mech has been expended. Ice is very low, but they got earned. They got Shadow Word. They're healing everybody back up. But despite of that, Faceless will back off, at least for now, and get some farm on their other heroes.
It looks really bad for Mineski, but as long as those racks stay alive, they still have a lot of hope. They just got the Radiance here before the 15-minute mark, and they're going to be able to push out the mid lane very quickly. So I actually think that push could have been like the game breaker, and instead that tier 3 tower down only puts them on like checkmate. It's like
only checkmate.
No, it's more
Only
like
check.
It could be worse.
It's check. It's not checkmate.
Well, here's the thing. If you look at Nuts' cooldown, do you think they're gonna push without him having Rock? I think they have to wait for the Rock.
Exactly.
Right? That's another 90 seconds for Raging to get whatever he needs to get. Probably a Yasha.
Well, during that
or
time,
whatever,
just to apply the counterpoint here, Jabs is going to get an Ags if that's what he wants.
Okay.
They just completed a Silver Edge on Black, which you can use to reduce that AUX damage quite heavily. Ice up to 1900 gold, so we'll see. It could be
he's pretty far from Greaves still, but I think it's going to be the pick he
Greaves.
needs.
Undying has already picked up a hood and on his way to a pipe, so it's not like Faces aren't also getting big items during this time, guys.
That's true.
We actually got to see the value of the sieging macropire here, where essentially you just put it down in an area where they're trying to contest the tombstone or the nether ward or just defend their tier 3, and you saw this huge area just completely cut off from Miracle. He couldn't get in the fight.
Do you guys think that Mineski is at a position where they need to smoke and do a wraparound play, or are they better off just holding one spot?
It's so risky though, because like you're walking into a Silver Edge Slark, suddenly you don't have the sentry or the observer.
Well,
down,
they don't have the slaughter jump, right? That's I think the biggest point against that play.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is if you're trying to hold your high ground against nether ward, tombstone, macropire zoning, you might just lose your racks by the time you deal with all those structural things. So I almost feel like Mineski need to take a fight outside the base, or they will lose their base.
Oh, Black has no fear, guys. He just calmly sprints around the Radiant Woods now, doing laps, anxious for his next prey. And also, with all these towers down, he can really start to apply the D-Ward through the power of Shadow Dance.
It almost makes me wonder if the Naga might have even been better. The fact is that although the Radiance would come a lot slower, you could use the song to break things like the Tombstone or the Nether Ward without having to worry about the Decrepify or the Soul Rip. So
True.
It's actually a way to kind of stop this cheesy pushing strat in its tracks, but at the same time, the net worth advantage that the Alchemist has is something that Naga Siren would be dramatically lacking.
Alright, so Raging just spent 2k to buy BOTs. I'm gonna say Vanguard might be better here and now. Thoughts?
It depends on how quickly Faceless do that next push, but
Right now. Right now is the push.
considering it's coming now, BOTs may not help him too much in this next fight. But it is pretty core.
I mean, it's only core if you survive, right?
Yeah. Death Ward still not available for this Witch Doctor. Has
Still
barely
level
more than
5.
starting gold and is still level 5 here at 17.5 minutes. This is really detrimental. NB, like he's played the sacrificial support so many times, but he is the saddest he can be right now.
He's so sad that his frown is upside down. He's actually happy, guys. It's fine.
Uh-oh, Yules into Ice Path, a great storm, but here comes that Rog, and on the backline, Black going to work. Astro's going to save his ally a bit. Miracle trying to punch down the Rog, and Raging still holding the high ground. No tomb.
They have a glimpse here. Got to be careful if you're Faceless not to overextend. They're going to try to focus objectives. They get the tomb down.
There's no Death Ward to worry about though. There's like no damage incoming.
That tomb, who's actually going to kill the tomb?
Do so at your own peril, because they will look to counterplay it. The
Blink.
glyph has been expended. Slardar does a blink though, guys. Can he find the angle? He's smoked up. RR looking to pounce. He's got to hit a multi-hero crush. Ideally,
gotta
right
kill
when they
the tomb.
come to defend the tomb. Static Storm already committed, but they will have a glimpse. They can maybe drag a second hero back in. The cask is there. Look for the crush. He gets 2. Decent from RR. The glimpse back on Jabs. The kinetic field there, blocking him inside of the cage, but there's no one working on him during this time.
Oh, no.
Slardar
God,
backs
Jabs.
away, and Jabs says, I am a manly skeleton. Back off, man.
And back off
And
again.
he'll be absolutely fine. He's got the Ags and just constantly
That's the
zoning
Rex.
out Mineski. That's the Rex. They lost the Witch Doctor, who's hardly even a hero at this point. And I don't even know if they lose more. They're going to have a mech available soon. The Yules is still ready. Black gets bad as the ODO gets dropped. Not nearly enough to kill him. Both Rex are down.
Oh my
Pugno
God.
just roping in the gold. Jab suddenly with another 1900. Ice walks away. They don't even have the pipe yet, but that's about to come out. 1200 gold in the bank for Nuts. And Faceless wasting no time in trying to finish off Mineski. They stick around.
There's so many minute timings that happen in that fight. One big aspect is the timing between the Nether Wards. You could see that Faceless were playing so much further back when the Nether Ward was on cooldown and unavailable to right when it came off cooldown, and they actually got jumped on. If the jump comes like 5 seconds sooner and they just killed the Pugna there, it could be incredible. But he stands his ground, gets the Nether Ward down, and life drains away. Actually, I think Black would have died to that combo from the OD, except he spammed his Magic Wand, and you could actually activate Magic Wand coming out of the imprisonment, which would save your life. So,
oh, that scan. Great map sense here by Faceless, and to be fair, look at the warding that they have right now, so they have a lot of reason to suspect that movement.
Well, what the BOT is good at right now is having Raging Potato to shove top and, you know, defend mid when it comes. And they need to start pressuring these towers given the amount, like the 1 minute that they have. In terms of the gold, did he actually pick up another item, or is this all he's got, 700 gold?
He hasn't been farming, man. This is the
No, he's got Yasha. He's got Yasha.
It's not very impressive for the Radiance timing he had.
Honestly, I think he should have got Vanguard and maybe even Crimson, something to like just hold the base together, you know?
Yeah, but if you get the Manta style, you can do so much in terms of pushing out the 2 other lanes. So even if you're down a lane of racks, you're actually still
Pugna
able to do something with the map.
Pugna with Axe, though, they could just kill the illusions.
I mean, you say one Blaze, but Faceless, they want to make it 2. Already onto the high ground, they've done about, let's say, 15% of the tower's HP and damage, and now dropping the Macro Pyre on top of it. They just continue to press in. Ice is just a bulwark in the front line. That Nether Ward doing a lot of work. Potato wants to snipe it, and it will go down. Jabs did not get the Decrepify off
on the right side, also gonna get sniped. I gotta say, Faceless, this push.
That's big.
Yeah.
But still, even with that...
No, they have Smoke, Crush, Storm. They absolutely can destroy them if they can just get 2 heroes inside the Slaughter
Well, they
Crush.
have to get it off, and Faceless have the high ground, and they have the Rock ready, in position, from behind. Nuts lurking in the trees, no Radiant Vision, as they blindly
look at the mid. It's all in the base. They see no heroes.
It's too obvious.
Yeah, it is. They ping them out, and now it's you guys got to defend mid.
I mean, Faceless are just one step ahead of Mineski. They know they have to take a crazy fight like that with a big Crush and Static Storm to even have a chance, and they're not going to allow it.
Yep, Nether War's back on cooldown. Tombstone's back in 20. Oh, Crush gets 2, but
this
can
could
we
be
connect
it. He only cages the Pugna, and the Golem is there to counter it. I don't even know if Pugna dies to this. Deathward come in, and they do bring him down, but at what cost as Black surges forward, he instantly buys back. Self-banish, or defensive banish, I should say, and Black will leap away. Pugna returning to the fight immediately.
And you're out of the Chemical Rage for the Alchemist. He really has to fall back here.
This could be second rack.
This is likely at least half the HP on the racks, if not the full thing. Pugna, though, not quite here yet, but he's coming real soon. Good thing for them he didn't grab that Arcane Rune bottom, but he starts to spam. And the beautiful thing is he brings both racks down with this. As long as he places that blast just right. They even TP in the out just to get to the front lines quicker. Jabs again unable to decrepify that ward in time, and they just send on Ice. But there's the decrep. Keeps him alive. I got you, brother. I got you covered, Ice with the pipe as well. He's at full health.
Fatal bonds on all 5 heroes. Oh my god, the AoE damage is going to be coming out. Meow Miracle trying to run away. He still got the hood. No pipe just yet. Raging Potato, his Chemical Rage is about to run out, but I think he can still go forward. Slaughter still looking for the jump, but his Blink Dagger is constantly being refreshed and cancelled.
They can't do anything.
They have too much sustain. They're just too healthy. Even with the Manta, doesn't really matter.
No.
They've got a Pugna with an Axe. They could just... That's the thing, is like, even if this goes later, Pugna with Axe is to counter these illusions anyway, so...
That's why I don't think he should have got Manta. I think she should have got a Vanguard to hold the mid base.
If they hadn't lost bottom, it would be a lot better because the Pugna can't be everywhere at once. He doesn't have BOTs. It would have been unattended lanes that he could just be pushing out, and therefore the Pugna will be running lane to lane to try to address this. But now they're down 2 racks. The waves are constantly pushing in. It's not nearly as hard for Jabs.
Right.
Oh man, Pugna actually bought back their Jabs, TPs to the mid-tier 1 and smokes his way right back to the front line to get there before even Miracle's ready in the fight.
By the way, he's got an Arcane Rune for this next one, so he grabbed a bottom.
Jeez.
And just imagine how quickly that 3rd lane of buildings is going to get slaughtered.
Well,
Faceless.
this Roche.
They don't have enough vision in this area.
And they
So
back
they're a little cautious.
But they've just been ready. If they don't have vision, they play it safe. If they do,
the vision they have from the base, so they know what's not hiding behind the tier 3s.
I didn't actually see if they saw the smoke, but even if they didn't see it, they have a very good idea it's happening.
And that's the problem with having racks down this
that's
early.
such a lucky rune.
Well, against the Pugna though.
Yeah, okay, never mind. At least they could scout a bit and...
Still annoying.
I mean, for Faceless, you just wait, right? Mid and bot is pressuring in, so you don't have to do anything except wait for Mineski to get back to the base.
Well, they're gonna see the Alk mid. He can get back there fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But Faceless are gonna take their time here. They've got the rock ready to go again. They're gonna blast into the pit. Black will start to work on this thing, and as soon as they see a couple heroes bottom, they know the Roche is safe. So
It's
no
for free.
real risks taken here.
Do you think this is a good use of Faceless time? Like, I know Aegis is great on jabs, but couldn't they just press and push top instead?
Because he had to buy back, I would say it is.
Okay.
Because the last time all they did was just solo crush him and solo storm him, and he died and had to buy back. If they don't have that option again, then suddenly you have to wait another full minute for, or maybe 2 minutes because your ulties.
Look
Okay.
at this. We have a Veil of Discord Outworld Devourer on our hands, guys. This is pure desperation mode items from the OD.
Yeah, it can still help a lot though, enabling the damage coming out from the Disruptor and from the Alchemist. It's just a really good raw stat item to boost that intelligence where he needs it. Problem is they still, like, they don't have the pipe complete. I don't even know if he intended to, just maybe playing selfishly with the hood because it is a very cost-effective item, but end of the day...
Ice. If he gets caught here, that would be absolutely huge for the team. Oh, force staff away. Glimpse back though, and they will crush him up with the stun. And that's going to buy themselves some time here.
Yeah, he Yules before the glimpse, so he actually got pulled right out of it, and that is going to be a quick kill against him. But 40-second death timer, I'm assuming they're going to start pushing as soon as that's back up.
Well, I'm seeing Raging Potato. He got the point booster, made me scare a little bit. He goes right back for the BKB. I think
that's the pickup.
that is the pickup for item. And then maybe you can finish your Octarine or whatever.
So Tombstone's going to go down pretty easily here, but I don't know. I mean, we got to see Nuts drop a 5-man Fatal Bonds in the last fight. If you're still connected and dealing that much damage to your opponents, it doesn't matter how much you can heal back up.
Yeah, Mineski though, this really does blunt their farm curve, being forced to go into such like mid-game items for the OD, for the Alchemist now, not rushing the Octarine. Necessary, sure, but really extends the lease on life that this Faceless draft has, and RR now trying to find something with his deep invis gank, I guess, towards the enemy jungle.
What's the next item for the OD? Do you think he finishes the pipe, or are we looking at Blink, or...?
Something that is like 2,000 gold or less.
Yeah, I don't know if he's thinking about saving buyback too. Oh, they actually glimpse back to Slark. He does have a BKB,
There is no Static Storm though, and yeah, it wouldn't matter anyway with the BKB. Black, he knows he's really got like almost double this health with all the heals, the
They want
pipe.
to fight this. Or at least try to hold this tower.
They just want to delay. This tower is not going to stand, but they know if they can at least postpone Faceless here, it buys them more time for defense on the high ground when it comes.
Okay.
Another scouting mission by Mizio Black.
Is there any kind of game-changing ags that you could go for instead of Octarine?
I mean, Witch Doctors is the only one, and it's still like,
I mean,
he's level
it's a
6.
crapshoot.
He's so
level 7,
squishy though that I don't know if
Maybe
really
maybe the Static Storm prevent the BKB from coming out?
Well, the change to the Witch Doctor's S board means that if you get an Ags even on level 1 death board, it's still actually pretty good because it used to have like bounces and stuff, and they actually rework the damage so that it's a little bit more smoother scaling. But end of the day,
with Ice Path and Yules, I don't think so.
End of the day, it's still extremely unreliable.
What about Static Storm? I mean, you're looking at BKB on Black, as well as I think Jabs has BKB coming out as well. Maybe that's worth the consideration.
OD eggs.
Oh boy,
You put them all in Astro.
That used to be the pub build, right? It was just stacking in Dota 1, just mass eggs.
Oh yeah, that was a very different item back then, but definitely works that way. I like what actually Miracle did there. You saw the Veiled Discord one-shots creep waves when he has the imprisonment on one melee creep, veils it, and they all die. So that can be a great way to just delay wave after wave of push from Faceless.
He's up to 3k gold. Okay.
Well, maybe he's going for a BKB as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the hood, so it feels a little awkward, but at the same time, those 10 seconds are so critical for these fights.
So, Veil, Astro, like you said, that siege unit's gonna give a little chance here. Blink Crush.
Started off on jabs. They want to go. He's got the Aegis though.
Look at
Can they
his
keep
HP.
him alive? Death Ward. Uh-oh.
And that's a lot of
Glimpse
damage
back.
lost.
But they do find jabs on that second pullback. Can they actually commit here for a kill? They still have Static Storm.
Reset.
They could crush into Static Storm. Maybe try to go for this.
Ice
BKB.
Path.
He mans up. There's the Golem though to turn this one around. And jabs just drives Miracle away. The pounces for Black. Not going to quite connect on RR. Gets banished though, and now Black's committed his BKB. The Golem's down as well. Static Storm also committed, and on the front line stands an angry Potato, who's very difficult to kill. He's fighting the zombies. The BKB though has worn off. He's got to be careful. Stun comes through, hits on the zombie man. The lanes are pushed out mid and bottom. They can actually try to take this fight, and they're going to do so. The courier drops in the midst of it all. Still the Potato ult, but he's lost his ultimate. Now he's a lot squishier. Black a little low. Mineski dropping the hammer, but it's a very squishy rubber mallet. It doesn't get the job done.
They defended.
That's the thing. Like,
Yeah, they killed Pugna twice. They killed Undying. Nobody died. Nobody needed to buy back. The tier 3 still alive. Mineski holds.
And there was a huge element of surprise in that, where actually Jabs was able to get the BKB off the courier right when he respawns from Aegis. So that should have been like the turn where suddenly Mineski are completely outgunned. They wouldn't have realized what they were up against, and half their heroes do nothing against a BKB.
You know, the problem is Jab stood under Acid Spray and he tanked Alchemist, and I don't care if you have BKB or not, you're not tanking Alchemist.
It's true.
When he has this farm, so he buys Axe. Who's he
I'm
gonna give it
Switch
to?
Doctor is still the pickup if you can, but he actually gave it to the Disruptor.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
because the
Static
BKB is,
Storm. Yeah.
one BKB is probably not a reason enough, but when you have Yules on the Jakiro and BKB on Slark and Pugna,
I think Mineski is gonna hold this. I mean, they still have to play flawless. They can't make any more mistakes.
no
but
mistakes at all.
Holy shit, this game.
Well, we had one very entertaining Mineski game yesterday. Are we in for another?
This is entertaining for a different reason, right? This is actually a good game.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I mean, a
what is that play?
well-played game from both sides, actually.
It's more suspenseful though.
Yeah.
You could definitely feel the tension because every moment really counts. If you venture out too far as a support here, you're gonna get gunned down by the Slark. If Faceless mess up even the positioning of their Tombstone or their Netherward slightly, they'll fail a push. Like every moment and every decision seems very critical from both sides.
And look at again, Miracle's build. I cannot stress enough. We keep making fun of his, iPhone 7 build or whatever, but like, I feel like all of these items he got was correct, and like it had a big impact in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely had a huge impact, and now has a 10-second BKB. Mineski still hanging by a thread, though, with 2 melee Rex down. Top
Black
lane can be rather quickly sieged, and they are searching. Black is the Echo Saber, looking for the quick jump.
Yules.
There's the self-Yules. The BKB comes out from Black. The Static Stone gets dropped.
That's not how that works.
Astral, Death Ward, Black has to commit the ult to get
That's
away.
a huge waste from Jules. That's panic. Like, once the BKB's out, there's absolutely no reason to drop spells like that. But I don't think that Faceless can pressure it in the next 70 seconds.
I mean, if they were pressuring, they need to go top, right? So,
yeah, and the wave is pushed out, and the illusions are making their way there.
well, I definitely said that Raging needed to get the Vanguard. I'm proven wrong, and I'm glad that he went for this late game build, because this is where it takes over.
But Lumi, you were actually right in the context of the next fight, if that was the most important one, and they lost right there. But
I mean, they held the game.
They
so
held
that-
the game, and
yeah.
each fight that they hold, the more long-term idea works out better. So getting the BOTs, getting the Manta style, this has really done a lot for their team, and they're building further. Yeah, like, and even the Miracle build is working out really well. I'm the utility player, so I'm always on the hype train, but even the Hood itself is very cost effective for what it's accomplished this game.
Well, thankfully for Radiant, the Static Storm cooldown is quite low. It will be back up for the next fight.
And that's Black's BKB burning down lower. I mean, he didn't get anything out of that kill attempt, and he actually was the one to burn the cooldown.
He went back for a very late Echo Saber. Always a good Slark item with the Essence Shift, but 31 minutes in, grabs it.
Yep.
Now working towards a Basher. Wants those extra items to push him over the hump now, not trying to angle for ultra late game.
I'm actually surprised that he even bothered with Silver Edge before Echo. Like, Echo is such a huge power spike for the hero, then Silver Edge, you're not muting too much. It's only the damage reduction that you're really worried about. But at the end of the day, he's got both items now, Basher soon. It just means he has to get on the right target. And we saw that the dive that happened from the top lane push actually resulted in Black being on a target that got imprisoned. So a really good save from Miracle there allows them to keep the fight alive, and it's going to get harder and harder for Slark to stay on the right target.
Yeah, I cast a game in the China qualifiers just before this where it was like the dream Slark game. They had no catch for him, no defensive supports or abilities like Astral, and they had a lot of squishy heroes. This is not that game. You have Slark who can really, Disruptor who can really punish the Slark once the BKB is on cooldown, or if he is able to catch him off guard before he pops it with the eggs now. Alk who can maybe not man fight him, but very difficult to bring down. The Amp where once he's caught, and isolated. If the Dark Pact isn't used properly, he'll die very quickly. And OD, who has the Astral, as you mentioned, to protect an ally or himself, and gives you the late game Hex. So I don't really feel like this is a, oh, Slark gets 6 slotted, they just win kind of game by any means.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know we've been focusing a lot on Mineski because they are definitely being under siege, but let's focus on Faceless a bit. How much gas is left in this wild ride of Faceless? Because eventually they're going to get outscaled. Have we reached that point where they get outscaled?
I mean, you look at the fact that you have a certain number of attacks to kill off a Nether Wart or a Tombstone. That means 2 things. Obviously, if Liquid Fire comes down, you're still going to be able to keep it alive for a long time, along with the Decrepify, along with the Soul Rip. Before, Tombstone used to fall off so hard. Can they really do anything about it though? I mean, at best, there's a BKB pop, but
he's got buyback goals.
Comparing old Undying to new Undying, like the old Tombstone used to be completely useless after like 20, maybe 25 minutes because you would just kill it off so quickly. Now it will die fast when they pop a drum, but it's not like one-shottable.
Well, for Raging Potato, it might be.
Okay, 1.0 base attack time does change things a little bit, I suppose.
The late Aether Lens for jabs. We've seen this as like a first item for a lot of Pugna players.
Yeah. Not in C.
No, SCA, they love the Aghanims.
China, they really love this.
Yeah.
We saw the support Pugna actually a bit earlier today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Worked quite well, actually.
Mineski, again, looking for a pick. Any pick they get, they buy themselves more time and perhaps even some structural damage.
Ooh. Interesting smoke here. Not as transparent as the last one they made destruction.
He's in the pit.
Is there a force stab? Is there anything?
Uh-oh, this could be bad. Is he not going to drop that ulti?
Oh, the force is the wrong way.
And he will end up dying.
Oh, I think he lives there if he actually gets forced to the high ground. Oh, that's so frustrating for his team. That said, Roshan's not going to be like forfeit as a result of this kill because the lanes are still always going to be in trouble. But what this does mean is that Mineski has time to like push out the top lane all the way to the corner of the map.
Right. So, well, actually, Roshan will get forfeited as Faceless gets a good lucky respawn, and they will get it fast. And I don't think Mineski could contest.
So who do you give this to? Is this jabs again?
I think so, because he got the Aether Lens. He's still going to be poking in this kind of compromised position. You're worried that he's going to get caught by a Static Storm with that Aghanims now. So I think it's a solid pickup. That said, I could say that the Slark, while he has better items per slot, and he doesn't want to drop really anything, if he gets caught in a Static Storm, then only the Pugna can keep him alive. So as long as those two keep their distance, you give it to Jabs.
Well, it is slow going here. That's a big rock, but Faceless working him down. Blast by blast, poke by poke. Looks like they will be able to kill him with no real sign of a Mineski contest.
Oh, Black's actually getting it.
Okay, so Jabs cannot be in a bad position whatsoever. If he's caught in a Static Storm and dies, then the game is so much harder.
I wonder if you use this Aegis simply as a bait, you just run Black in, like at the Radiant Heroes as hard as he can, and just buy time for Nether Blasts and Tombs and everything to be set up on the Rex.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Pugna heal behind him. It's going to be really hard for the Disruptor to worry about the Slark and the Pugna at the same time, so it definitely could work.
Well, the gold continues to climb Mineski's way, despite fighting against 2 lanes of racks that have been blown up, so getting less gold from those. They have the Alk, they have the Radiance Manta Octarine, BOTs, and
Abyssal.
They arguably may have the better late game here, if they all get Ags, which it seems like we're en route for now.
So what's the second Ags? Like, or is you think that he's gonna get something for himself? I think he's gonna buy Ags instead of like changing an item, right?
I mean, Witch Doctor is still extremely valued. Like the reason that the mid push for Faceless was so damn easy is because there was no Death Ward at all. Like he was a level 5 Witch Doctor that couldn't add anything to it. So even when they put heroes in the Static Storm, they couldn't kill him. Now, if you can multiply that damage potential with the Death Ward, and you can actually get it off for more than a couple of seconds, it's going to be a pretty dramatic change.
Well, they want to smoke in from the bottom, maybe take this range Rex.
Oh, there's an Obs and a Sentry, and Ice is going to be revealed on the high ground. Miracle, though, is the first one, caught out a bit. Ice Path there will connect, and they started off with the upheaval. They cancel that. They're hanging onto the rock for now. They're focusing on Miracle, but he gets off the BKB, looks for the turn, trying to focus down Ice. There's the rock. The commitment is heavy to kill off Miracle. They haven't done it yet, though. Black with the leap forward. He needs that extra bash. He's already committed the Abyssal active. He's diving him towards the well. The crush is there. Instantly canceled out. Black, this fish is super hard to bring down. And now the Static Storm comboed with the OD banish to save the day, while Raging Potato fights the other 4 heroes on Faceless. They glimpse Black Black away, but Raging Potato is ult has ended. The Astral again, the OD ultimate coming through. Can they finish him off? No! He's healed back up, he lives! And now the turn! Looking for Nuts! Miracle gonna bring him down on the XY! Mineski holding the line! They might get more now. They look for the Slark. Can they kill the fish off the second time? Leaps out, trying to retreat, but they have the glimpse. They're gonna wrangle him on back. Crush and dead! He gets deleted!
Aegis down, does not matter. They got the range racks. I mean, that's what I meant. You have the Slark to go in and hold and get the Raxus, but they went for range racks instead of making that play on the top lane. Immediately, we see the Alchemist pushing up top. I mean, this could be Rax. We got
Mineski, don't call him the comeback kids just yet, but it's sure looking like it now, gents.
Absolutely.
They didn't have to expend any buybacks.
No,
for that.
nothing. They didn't die. Not a single hero. They were able to use the imprisonment to save the Alchemist at the last second. The first Astral, questionable because he was already in the Static Storm, but after that, it didn't matter. They bought the time they needed. I think they have 2 Yules with the Slardar and the Disruptor to be able to kite the Slark and buy time. Slark has no real target. He puts all this damage into the Alchemist, then goes on the supports, and the supports are like self-Yules, Astrals, whatever. They can keep Black changing targets long enough, and while it did cost them the range racks, they get a 5-man wipe the other way.
Oh my god.
Mineski.
Arcane Rune, Octarine, let's go. Let's just spam our spells.
Or just chill.
Yeah, he's waiting for the next rune. Bounty? Okay, no luck.
Just an invis, but Mineski using this time to take a tier 1.
Actually, he
And
just
tier 2 top.
he just turned off his radiance. I think he's looking for a snipe or something with that invis rune. Or just the other rune.
Are you kidding me? This is an Alk, and he sees a bounty. 7,000 gold now for him. So I imagine someone is getting an egg here.
7,000 gold on the OD too. This is gonna be.
Why does he have 7,000 gold?
He's 7-1 and 4.
It's.
How has he not spent his gold? Is what I'm questioning.
Better question.
I think he just got it all.
It's gotta be the Hex or something. Yeah, off all those kills. But
Okay, so
Also, that is the one downside to this OD build is he's kind of built a lot of small items, so he does have to start replacing them sooner. And it looks like Shiva's, I believe it was, will be the first
I think
pickup.
Hex actually. There was an.
Oh, sorry,
ultimate
was it a Hex? Okay, yeah, Hex for him and an AC plus another point booster for Raging Potato. So Ag's number 2.
Yep.
Is about to be
Witch
completed.
Doctor, I imagine.
Definitely.
Witch Doctor hits 11.
Disruptor is a blink.
When he
dagger.
gets 11, it's even better.
Suddenly, Jules is just massive.
Yeah.
Easily outstripping those dire supports, and then
Yeah.
you got this sad fella.
Yeah, that's Ninja Boogie for you. But even Glimmer Cape is not bad, and he's gonna get tomes to get himself level 11. Like that's all you really need is the Witch Doctor here.
Yeah. I say that with Glimmer Cape and Ags, you're set for the whole game too.
If Mineski win this game as well, like at what point he's just like, no one can beat these guys. They just have this like magic about them where they keep on coming back.
You can never call it quits, at least as a Mineski fan. This is definitely one where they're able to just showcase how they're able to win the game. They knew from the draft that they'd be backs against the wall pretty early. Maybe not as hard as they were,
Axe,
but
Jakiro.
But there's nothing really to like combo this with. To
No,
roll.
you just throw it down on the lanes, right?
Yeah,
Where the
it's
creep
like a
is.
siege
Yeah.
pool
It's like a
practically.
zoning Axe ult.
You put it just down in the base, and if they walk in to defend, then they're just going to create issues. But the problem is, they've already got a lot of good AoE damage over time.
Well, and they have
problem is
double
lack
BKB.
enough single target focus to actually kill somebody. Because right now they're just dancing around with Yule Scepters, the Alchemist is healing through everything. Right now they need more single damage focus, and I would have loved to see something more like a Hex, but the Ags is here for the Jakiro. It can't, if they can build the fight around it, great, but they have to start on the top lane. They started on the bottom lane because they thought they'd have the surprise from smoke, and instead it kind of just broke evenly, where the OD is still able to pop the BKB and get out.
Oh, every support stream, Witch Doctor gets the accent. And look
Suddenly
at him.
no longer the lowest in the game.
Yeah.
He went from 4K to 7,400.
Yeah, how you like these nuts? They might find a catch here though. Ice. Creeping in. Oh, looks like Mineski will make it out. So the lanes are starting to push their way, guys. We see 2 lanes at the river, 1 lane just behind it. Mineski getting a lot more confident moving out.
Maybe with confidence also comes with overconfidence, right? Like, still, 1 mistake from Mineski. I mean, they have buybacks now, but maybe 2 mistakes from Mineski. They could still lose this game despite the fact that they stabilized for a while.
But, I mean, even Mega Creeps is still a possibility. Like, they can fight back from that. They even fought for Mega Creeps yesterday when they didn't have heroes for it.
Yeah.
So only a couple of good
no,
items.
they had the Radiance
No, they had
lifestealer.
items for it. They didn't have
They
heroes
had a
for
Radiant
it.
lifestealer.
So
that
all those
helped.
heroes naked, like, don't stand a chance. But, you know, when you get Radiance Mjolnir, you're in a pretty good spot. So, with that in mind, now they have heroes and items that can really manage it. And I think that in the worst case scenario, they can still fight in that full 6 racks position.
Okay, Black looking for a pick. We have not seen actually.
Just walked into the scan, and they're going to try to converge here quickly
He's
at
got
RR. He does have the blink, and he gets out. Get to the chopper.
Yules, oh my god, the slow, but the Glimmer Cape actually gets him out, and he's fine.
And they are afraid of touching anywhere near those steps. So that is actually a really good escape coming in from Ralphie, and that's going to just really reset the map again. Faceless. Yeah. All they can do is control the jungles. They can farm, but right now, Mineski are farming better with this Alk.
I actually think we're getting to a point where they can make the BOT2 plays that they made yesterday. You just have to Slaughter to go hunt, and then Raging just go for a BOT2 on top.
That's definitely not as good as a Nyx, though.
I mean, that's definitely true, but I mean, they now actually have a way to go for kills, right? Because right now, Mineski so far is just about waves and pushing things out.
Look at this.
Alk Illusions moving in, and now they do get vision here onto Ice Ice Ice. They're going to make that committed leap. The Static Storm follow-up is there to Crepify, and the Pugna comes in to save the day, and still that Alk Illusion doing a lot of work, mauling him down.
Holy crap, that damage!
He's not out of the woods yet. I'm not sure why the illusions are not microed onto him, but I guess he's okay.
He thought he could do some damage. Another word. Unfortunately, I literally do creep hits, so it's definitely not anything by
Meanwhile, Black is going to find the gem of RR. He gets off the crush, instantly removed by the Dark Pack. Quick kill for him, and more importantly, they found the Raging Potato. Oh god, this could be bad. Is it going back the other way? It sure looks like it. Raging Potato comes out. He's not very tanky though. Okay. He's really not dying quickly the start at all. Then in the end, he is going to end up getting out with the TP back home.
And they're pushing top all the while. The Radiant Heroes are still in the map, finally TPing away, but they are not afraid.
Are they going mid to top?
They have to, for sure. Like, they have to take advantage of the Slaughter being killed, but at the same time, they're so afraid that they overstep their bounds and they get caught by a combo again.
Oh, Ninja Boogie just got his Glimmer all the way up, and then last second Abyssal Black.
Oh, he wanted the gem, and not gonna get it.
Yep. Okay. Jump again. Maybe they'll leave it here to bait more heroes.
He ran by this ward and got scouted.
All right.
Unfortunate.
Dangerous territory to play in. I mean, I like the idea of warding up on the hill, the Disruptor move, making those moves, and trying to find little pickoffs here and there, but with Pugna's in range, he's going to keep them alive.
Would you ever buy an axe for OD? I feel like that's actually bad.
You'd get it before the Alk eggs.
I mean, you'd have to, if you go Refresher, because it doesn't steal the intelligence anymore, so it's just a double...
No, it's just that once you ult them, you can't focus them because they're just Astro.
So you can still get hit by multiple Astral Imprisonments, right? Everybody's clumped up, and everybody gets hit by the Astral Imprisonment. They can
on top of each other?
AoE damage to one another.
Okay.
Wasn't that change made before they changed the orb to be the thing that steals Int?
It's really weird, but
because I think when that got changed, it was when Astral was stealing Int, so you'd steal Int from like 5 people at once, and then it was like, oh, this sounds kind of
just a
amazing. And now it's just like a nuke.
It's like a
he has failed though.
4-second song of the siren for your team, as well as a massive nuke, but it's not nearly as good as it could be. And there are definitely situations where it would be considered detrimental.
I think that's one that might be due for a rework since the changes.
I remember...
I mean, it's still stats. You still get it for him eventually.
I remember stealing it as a Rubik with Ags, and then I ulted the whole team. And my team was trying to like set up, whatever spells on top of that at the same time. I'm like, oh, oops, my bad. It's definitely, like, with Slaughter, I could definitely see them missing a Crush or a Storm or whatever.
It's also something that you don't see pro teams practicing. There's no way that they're going to be scribbing just to figure out the best way to take advantage of an OD with an Aghanim Scepter.
So there's the Vlads. Faceless, I think the wheels have come off a little bit, gents. Yeah. It doesn't really seem like they have a clear game plan at this point. Black is mostly... he's got a little more room for items, but it doesn't seem like Slark's going to be able to solo carry this.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hard game for him. I mean...
What did Raging drop for his Mjolnir?
Radiance is no longer.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Did he actually courier it or sell it?
I think he sold it.
Usually you'll see them put it on the courier and like kind of bounce between the two when you're spamming your illusions, but it seems like he's committed.
Does that mean he will drop Manta next?
It's possible for sure. But Manta is definitely the only really good because of the Radiance.
Right.
I mean, we saw how much damage it could do to the Pugna, or to the Jakiro, but at the end of the day, you can get other items to do more.
I mean, we've been talking about how Manta is not at its best against the Pugna, so might be up next on the chopping block. And here comes up the OT2 on the onto the Roche.
Okay, amp damage going to come up soon.
Okay, this is not the play.
They're really messing up on the Linkets coordination, but all the same, they get the amp damage up, but they're going to have to leave the pit. And
here comes Faceless. Black has a fresh butterfly.
They're TPing. They just don't want any piece of this.
Well, Black wants a piece of it. The creeps rapidly racing in bottom lane, though. At the same time, Faceless are very slow here to take the Roche, so if they want to go for it, it's going to be quite a slog.
I'm still kind of just surprised about that Radiance decision just because of a mischance factor. Like, obviously you get some self-heals from the Octarine, but even better is that mischance that the Slark is going to have against him.
Well, not
now
just the
he's BKB.
mischance, just the split push. You're still down 2 Raxes, right? You still need those illusions to shove out the lanes.
Speaking of which, let's keep an eye here on the buybacks. 3 right now for the Radiant, all of their cores, and only 2 for the Dire.
I don't know about selling that red.
Yeah, I think like pocketing it and going to fights with the Mjolnir is fine, but selling the Radiance and not taking advantage of it for the rest of the game is a pretty painful thing.
All right, Mineski just going to waltz right in. They deploy the Illusion Army, and they are charging into the pit. Faceless see it coming, but is it in time? A glimpse back on Jakiro brings Ice into the pit. Black retreating from left to right on your screens, but now he wants to move in. He finds the Disruptor, and he wants it, but there's the Glimmer, the Yules. He's going to live. Now the Crush comes through. He gets on the Static Storm. They found him, but can they kill him? It looks like Black's able to fight. Oh, they surround him. The ODO comes through. It didn't hit Black, I believe. Now the BKB. He gets held in the ice pad. He survives. The zombie heals him right back up. Defensive Astral, but turning on a Raging Potato. Needs that Chemical Rage. It's going to come back. They want to isolate that OD. They will burst him. He has the buyback out for 75. The Golem in the front line. Raging Potato goes back in. Without that mischance, he's pretty easily focused here. I think they're going to make a move on him. No buyback yet from the OD. He's bashed. There's a lot of Essence Shift stacks now onto Black. Up to 19. It's a man fight. There's the Crush, but the Ice Pet to counter it. They can't focus Raging Potato down just yet. He's healing up. Black is not. Lightning scattering everywhere. And Ice in trouble. He's got to run too. They're almost dead to this lightning.
He's going to stun himself, and now Black's going to focus on him. He's dead. He needs to buy back right now. No.
The gem hits the deck as well. They lose the Slardar too.
This is why you don't sell your Radiance.
It's also the fact that the fight lasted so long. There were 2 Abyssal Blades as well as Chemical Rage expiring. No matter if he gets hit up again by the self-stun, it doesn't matter because he's out of health regen and he cannot survive any longer. Like, the fight only lasts as long as the Chemical Rage does, and the Octarine Core doesn't give it a 100% uptime. So they're able to kill him off in that short timing window, and now they've got the Aegis and Cheese.
Mineski not out of the woods yet. Now new items for Team Faceless. A Shiva's Guard up on Jabs. The Graph will plummet. We do see that Aegis picked up by him, the Cheese by Nuts, who begins to work on his own Aghanim Scepter, but he's going to do it the good old-fashioned way, uphill in both directions. We'll see Black, 26 Essence Shift stacks here, about 2,000 gold banked, and keeping eye on the buyback. Alchemist did commit his in that last fight, still has 5k gold. I mean, I guess could get that OD Ags if he wanted, but as we discussed, it's not really that great at this point.
Somebody needs to buy a Diffusal Blade on the side of Radiant, because these the Cryptifier are saving the Slark every single fight.
Who do you think? I guess
I would just sell your Manta. If you don't have Radiance, just sell your Manta and just buy Diffusal Blade, because last fight he couldn't kill the Slark. Like, multiple times he's having him down to relatively low HP, but the Cryptifier comes out, and then that's it.
With that, do you like fully trade out at least the Manta? I mean, you mentioned Diffusal. Like, do you even keep the Octarine just for the Chemical Rage?
For your ult,
it's really good for the ulti, and that's about it. So you have to decide
whether
whether
or not. I just don't think he should have sold his Radiance. This is just. Oh no.
Nah, it definitely puts him in a harder position overall. The Mjolnir was doing work. A lot of lightning.
It almost killed 4 of them. To be fair, like they didn't get any kills with the Disruptor ulti to start that fight, and he got caught. OD got isolated, dropped the hammer, but didn't hit the Slark from what it looked like. Okay, it could have been a lot different if they had a better engagement.
Given the fact that the fight lasted that long, do you think that Radiance wouldn't add up to that much damage?
I don't think it would have done quite as much, but the mischance would have helped a lot.
Yeah. In the end, though, the Manta is still the issue. I think that if you're going to sell your Radiance, you might as well switch to something that's actually an Alchemist item, a Strength Hero item, like something that can allow him to keep in the fights and do more damage overall. So I'm not exactly sure what he's looking for, but just maybe MKB just because there is a Butterfly now on the Slark. In the end, right now, the Manta's not doing enough.
Yeah, Slark's effective HP skyrocketed with that. Still, and I mean, if you're not going to get that, then maybe the OD gets the Bloodthorn to counter it, I guess, but that's not the most reliable against the Slark with BKB and Dark Pact.
Ice has a Cheese, by the way.
Alright, back into man fight mode. He's going for the Abyssal.
Okay. It can work, but Slark is the hardest target for him to bring down.
So he got rid of BKB for this?
What?
No way.
He did, right?
It still does not solve the Decryptify problem. That's the other issue.
Unless you go on the Pugna. Unless you can like maybe sell your Manta for a Blink Abyssal the Pugna, and just go on him.
I think it was a 5-second BKB as well at this point.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All these solutions are...
You're gonna move on that ward. Faceless, knocking at the front door, but there's the Hex that catches the Jakiro.
Back up, just reset. That was a nice attempt at an offensive force staff, but it went the wrong angle.
Well,
still with the lanes pushing in, as soon as Faceless sees someone rotate to bottom, they just get a little chip damage in. They already brought down the tower. Alk starting to really lose health here to that Pugna life drain.
But the thing is that static charge is doing so much work too. Because it's ticking so quickly on the life drain, you're getting them like that maximum. It's a minimum of 1 second per delay for each trigger of the static, but every time that it does, it just clears out the creep wave.
I'm worried about the Rex though,
Yeah.
which continue to get chipped on
Mineski
here.
is having trouble pushing out the other lanes without that Radiance.
And Alk now buying a
He's gonna
Shadow
sneak
Blade.
up on the Pugna. If he can get in on the Pugna here, this could be huge.
He's
They
gonna
have a
jump
jab.
jabs, he jumps right in. Jabs wasn't ready for this Abyssal Blade, but now
Aegis, he's got Aegis.
they can heal him right back up. That
Got him
Pugna
once.
will get caught.
Decrep
Alk finally down to the Decrep. Meanwhile, Black was thrown up in the air by the Yule Scepter, and they are gonna have to now look to go again. Ice backing off Jules, blinking in.
Death
Now
Ward
wants to
time.
run away. He's got the Static Storm available. He's hanging back. He's waiting for the right moment, and they just destroy the Slardar with the life drain. Looking for more now. They've brought him down. They want to finish off that OD. Banish gonna end on Raging Potato and
Oh,
move
no.
forward. The Static Storm, a swing, and a complete miss. They already committed the glimpse for that. Miracle's got it back, and that's going to give some precious moments here for Faceless to reset.
Yep, they're not going to be following through further, trying to finish out the racks. They're not as efficient as they could be, but they did actually walk off the Witch Doctor Death Ward, as well as, of course, the Static Storm there. And yeah, now that they know about the Shadow Blade, it's going to be even harder for Mineski to try to make that defense.
Now he sells his Shadow Blade, buys Blink or something.
He certainly loves to sell his items.
This is the frustrating part when you're an Alk, where it's like, yeah, I have all this gold, but really, what is the magical combo of items that will win the game? You want a Diffusal Blade to do with the Decrepify, you'd like the Radiance for the mischance, you'd like the Manta to supplement that, you'd like the Shadow Blade so you can actually sneak up on someone, because your Slardar is never getting a clean initiation in these fights, and if he does get caught, he's just dead with no BKB, no strength item. So, to be fair to Jay, he's being asked to do a lot.
Yeah.
And basically fill like 2-3 roles, I feel, right now.
I think you can still go for like Moonshard MKB at this point, selling the Manta, but he has to now, because he has no BKB, he has to be worried about getting Decrepified by the Pugna. And at that point, like, you have no Dispel, you have no BKB, and you're just sitting there.
If only you could buy item slots.
That and Alchemist would be the best hero in the game.
Oh, he still has the Manta to dispel Decryptify.
No, I'm
off of
saying
himself.
if he sells Manta, then he
Right,
won't be
right,
able
okay.
to. Or and you don't want to use your ulti mid-fight for that either.
Well, Black just roaming about the map now, closing in on full 7-slotted territory.
Yeah.
Nut still working on the Ags. Jabs, 3.8k gold.
Man, how has this game turned? I felt like, 10 minutes ago, I couldn't see Mineski losing because of
I
their
think
lead.
part of the issue is some of these Ags upgrades just haven't really paid for themselves. Like, RR doesn't have one on the Slardar. We haven't seen an amazing Death Ward yet that I can recall. The Static Storms, we got one on the Slark, which was actually made a
What-
difference.
They see black. They see black. They could blink
This
storm
could be it.
Blink storm?
They could blank,
They
but they
want
Blink
can't
storm,
glimpse.
BOT2?
Yules,
Storm? Okay, BOT2, let's go.
their
Where's
follow-up is
BOT2?
coming. Alk revving up the stun, but they got to get it off in time.
Yes.
They do. Lock him down, chop him up, and
Got
spit
him
him
up.
out. They
Okay.
kill off Black. He has a buyback.
I mean, you force it out. You go top.
Got to be careful, though, that you don't get caught on the way back.
Oh, they can't. Because the waves are not pushed out. Because they have no ratings.
To an extent, that is definitely a factor coming into play here, but I mean, you can see actually how well they can damage the Slark even without MKB. Like, yeah, he has Butterfly and they still don't have the Bloodthorn, but he is dropping pretty quickly either way. Does Black actually have a Scotty or any HP item?
No,
Just the
he's been
just the
sitting on this
BKB.
gold for a while.
Just the BKB. So that's probably the biggest issue for Black right now.
And
is
Echo.
He can evade, but he's got plus 20 strength to
But
his
you
items.
have to have BKB against Disruptor. Like, already, yeah, he can catch you with that Yule Static Storm, but if you don't have it, then it's just an easy glimpse catch.
Exactly. Tough spot to be in. That's where I wasn't sure about the Butterfly pickup, but in the end, yeah. Is he going
Alright.
to give it to the OD?
I guess so. I mean, there's no one else to give it to who actually uses
nobody
it.
else
You
that
could give
benefits from the
Slaughter for
upgrade.
stats, right?
But-
Like, the stats for Slaughter is not terrible.
I think you give it to OD first.
We'll see this upgrade and see if it actually is the value they're looking for.
It really isn't, but okay.
Have you used it before?
I stole it as a
literally
Rubik.
never bought it.
I had stolen as a Rubik, and it's terrible every time. I do not want to steal that as a Rubik.
I don't know, this is Miracle we're talking about. So it's essentially finding a way to Song of the Siren his entire opposition for 4 seconds.
And remember,
on an OD.
he does have a veil, guys.
Yeah,
so
okay.
this could add
They
up.
are sieging, you know?
They are going for the siege. They want
Oh.
Black to buy back, but I don't think it's going to happen in time. They've done very little damage to the tower.
And they're out.
And they just have to back. They do get all the lanes shoved in. Roshan, for whatever it matters, still 2 minutes away.
As far as wards coming down in this offensive, usually when you get this map opened up like this, you want to see big observer wards come out from one side or the other. But I'm sure Faceless still have a gem, if not 2, and we actually see no gem observers left in their wake. They have 1 towards the top lane.
But are you sure the Grievous Greed don't work on zombies? I swear I could see him getting gold from it.
He does not get gold per zombie kill now.
Okay.
I mean, he might be able to stack up the buff to a maximum 36 gold, but that's it. He doesn't actually benefit per kill.
Well, I don't really think Raging Potato has much more use for gold, guys, to be totally honest.
I mean, he still get Moonshard for himself, which I'm surprised he hasn't got.
Moon shards, 2 more eggs, 1 for himself, 1 for the Slardar, and then he's pretty much fully done.
Yeah, start buying wards.
MKB Divine, like,
Eh.
you need damage. Look, he's hitting so fast. 1.0 base attack time, nearly max attack speed, but he's only hitting for 160.
So what do you get rid of? Octarine?
Oh no, a lot of the
Meta?
Yeah,
a lot of the damage is proc based, right? When you proc lightning, when you proc bash, like
yes,
more damage
it
comes
can
out.
be for sure, but at the same time, like you would still like to hit a little harder. Like if you were up against the Bane, you'd be almost doing no damage.
Oh god. RR.
Faceless, just confidently moving up the hill. It's XY in front. He is very tanky, and he's also got Black behind him. The TPs go out, and they show Jules top, who committed his Static Storm just to shove out the lane.
What a
The
pushing-
Roshan
We got to see
is
the
theirs if they want it.
the farming freezing fields of yesterday become the static storms of
I
today.
think Static Storm is a little bit more important than a freezing field.
If
To-
you know where they are, it's
To
okay.
be fair, Disruptor getting items is huge this game. If he gets a refresher, you know,
Oh, yeah,
anything
dude.
to help keep him alive.
The Venn diagram. Oh, let's go.
Or just stack it hard on one
Pioneered
person.
by FY God
Yeah.
with the Midas refresher Aghanims build.
And you can set it up with the ultimate from Miracle. He could just jump in.
Actually,
It's coming into.
actually, that's some pretty sick synergy.
All right. I'm sure that's what
They
Raging
don't. I mean,
Potato planned.
they don't need the refresher for that. To be fair, but
Yeah, like you can Astro Imprison and it's so slow. Like it's short range, it's like full cast animation. You just get in range to Sanity's Eclipse them to initiate.
Dude,
that's a
that's-
hell of a way to win a game.
if Mineski gets that off, I think they just win.
The throne just exploded on you.
Yeah, that's like the game just can't handle the awesomeness and just over.
Okay. Oh, we're still not really.
This is game 1, by the way. A lot on the line here. A trip to the Boston Major, but it is a best of 3, and Faceless not crumbling under the pressure just yet. Certainly showing a lot more resilience than what Fnatic did as they work on this Roshan. But Mineski just seem like the
Okay, he
scrappiest
switched his
team in the
item again.
qualifier.
He's got butterfly now.
Okay.
Hey,
So,
if you
no
want to get
mantle.
it, if you wanted to get into a war of items and just be like that 1 step ahead, I think Alex always gonna have the edge.
Yeah,
How many items
can
has he
cycle.
got in this
He can
game?
actually just put 3 on the courier. But he sold his Manta, so now he does have to worry about the Decrepify in the fights. No way to dispel it other than Chemical Rage, which you're already going to have on you. So, yeah, that's going to be the big thing here.
The Decrepify has a 6-second cooldown. And it lasts for 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure that Raging Potato understands that he's not going to be attacking anything.
All right, I'll be sure to call him and let him know, Lumi.
Okay. Right now, Facebook.
Actually, Facebook is the better way to reach most Dota players in the
Is
Philippines.
this going to be the Sprout of...
Yeah, this is going to be the Arteezy Sprout. Like, except he gets a hope for 1 second or so, and then he gets to Sprout again.
I mean, they have Banish. Like, they're not totally helpless.
Yeah, but like he wants to be hitting people. Like it's not that he's unable to survive. He's gonna sit there and live. But the problem
just
is
banished
he's
the-
just gonna sit there.
Yeah, I guess.
Pugna's got BKB, so he's not getting banished. Oh my god.
This is gonna be tough. I mean, now there's MKB up on the Slark. Yeah, this Alchemist really is so hindered by his 6 item slots. Like of any hero, he is the most limited, and still no moonshards.
Maybe he forgot about eating Windshard.
I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he's just trying to think about the next item to optimize his build.
Okay. I mean, he's
To be honest, you can have as much attack speed as you want. A lot of the Alx issues are still like actually hitting people with
Right,
the
right.
crap. Like, does that extra attack speed really matter versus something like the ODX or buyback or potentially changing out another item? Hard to say. as RR threatens for a jump.
I guess if you get Lotus on a teammate, then suddenly this build is the best. But if you can't dispel and nobody can dispel for you, you're in trouble. Crush? Oh.
Oh, they got that
BKB,
glimpse.
BKB. It's fine.
Okay. I mean, that's still good. BKB.
It's definitely 5
5
seconds
seconds.
now. I think it's been that way for a while.
Still, they're not going to do anything here for 30, 40 seconds.
Alright, this is a hell of a Dota game.
It really is. Again, like, it's been 63 minutes, and again, every single moment seems so high tension.
Faceless still trying to break this third lane, which is full. HP on the melee, fairly healthy on the ranged. Buybacks aplenty abound. And RR looks to make his move. It's the offense supports that, but quick on the draw is Jabs. He gets up the BKB. They send the Alk rushing in and now has to back away.
Hexed.
He gets hexed. He will be focused a little bit, but he is not an easy kill. So after all that, Pugna BKB is down.
Bot lane's pushed in. Somebody needs to go defend.
Effigy is no longer available.
I'm just waiting for this OD ulti into Static Storm, guys.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about it. With the Veil.
Yeah, if you get like 3 heroes together on that ulti, then you're just win.
I think that's what Miracle's looking for as well. But the Raxes are being sieged. That Ado lands allowing Jabs to, poke up sometimes.
They're so nervous. Faceless just know how
Blitz.
dangerous it is to go high ground, and they found Jab. Doesn't have the BKB, does have the Aegis though. They're gonna try to focus him here. The rock gets dropped. Jab's almost dead. Not quite yet though. Potato
Hit him
working on
once.
him. Brings him down once. They kill up the golem, and now the Death Ward zoning back everything on Faceless. It's a strong upheaval, but they can't really fight into it because of that ward. Potato gets off the stun just barely and pushed away to safety by Miracle. So Aegis cracked.
Tier 4, look at the face, man. They
They're
can't
buying
push out
so
the
much time.
They have to choose between top and mid, and they're getting pulled apart a little bit. Faceless, though, unable to cinch the noose here completely. Just slight chip damage on one tier 4, the other already killed off long ago.
If they ever try to pursue a winning fight, they're just going to get caught inside the Macropyre upheaval. And if they can't cancel that Warlock, then they're just screwed. They're losing their base and they're catching nobody.
Well, Alk's got 13k gold.
More BKBs.
I think it's Moonshard's time, guys.
Yeah. That's, I mean, obviously the secret shop is now the limited resource. Maybe you
Send the
send it over to
courier
the dire
on
one.
a little secret mission.
Oh my god.
It doesn't cost you, just to try.
And it's, I mean, Faceless will slightly benefit from the gold, but these are ultimately small things compared to getting a good initiation off and having buyback, both of which still lacking for a few heroes here on the Radiant. Alright. I think Faceless are starting to get a bit confused about how they easily end this game.
They're taking tier 4s all the while, though. Like,
No, they already took this one. They did
Yeah, but
slight damage to this tower.
it's damage that
It's
doesn't
damage,
heal.
right? There's no treant in this game.
This is like finite pool of...
It's not enough. They cracked an Aegis for that. Like, I think Mineski's very comfortable
And if
with
they have
that.
to wait another 10 minutes to do that exact same amount of damage...
Mineski is definitely not comfortable. They are one mistake away, right?
So is Faceless.
Yeah, I think they're...
Less so. But
Yeah.
Here is an opportunity. They're going to show
Yo.
Jay. Or, sorry. Yeah, Raging Potato's just going to stay on the map. And
Scan does
where's
find the
their damage?
Undying.
Where's their damage? Brink Crush, okay, there's gonna be Storm the BOT too, but gotta be careful about top. They will get black. They need to force out buybacks. Go mid.
Yeah, that's the key. It's not just the one mistake, it's punishing that mistake by actually getting to the dire side of the map.
Well, everyone else is going to march down mid. We're going to see Miracle clear out this bottom lane, and then Bimbo working on the top, and they will all converge on mid. I think he's going to have to buy back here.
Yeah, it looks like there's enough time. 80 seconds, full level 25. It is going to be BOT's level 2 as
No,
well.
they're looking for
Jumping
more.
on the slaughter. They
RR.
can get 2. That would be huge.
Does he see anyone just yet? Not quite. He's going in
He
blind
will see XY.
if he sticks around.
Oh my god, the fish eye vision, please. Where's some glasses?
Where's his Moonshard? Come on. Oh, it's daytime. It doesn't matter.
Okay, we're gonna BOT2 now.
One more push, I think, on each lane. They will back off, and then the whole 5-man squad going to converge. The rock will be up. The timing works out here. By the way, Jules, Refresher is fairly close if he wants to buy it. BOT level 2 into the lane. And they go towards top. They think about it. Where are they going to go?
If you see the Slark buyback TP, do you just static storm the TP and just take him out of the fight for another 20 seconds?
Maybe. But he might BKB prematurely. We'll have to see. Raging Potato now working on it. They're going to static storm the zombie man instead. Still no buyback.
Look at the slow.
Heavy commitment. And now look for the ultimate from the OD. He moves in deeper on the jabs. BKB committed. We're not going to get that combo though. Raging Potato though smacking down the tower, unable to finish it off. Ice Path is there. There are no creeps at the base. Mid is pushing out against them. Bottom lane also and they don't get the buyback they wanted.
God, they don't get anything from that.
Well, they kill Black, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, beyond
Yeah,
the kill.
but that's it's not a reward in of itself if you can't punish it.
Right, that's what I mean. Faceless could make mistakes. Mineski cannot.
So right now I'm realizing, and obviously so is Jay, that he's getting controlled so hard every fight. Hex, Ice Path, Decrepify, constantly going on him. They need a Lotus Orb so bad.
Or he could go back for Manta Radiance.
Yeah, you can buy one of the items he sold.
I think
depends how
Disruptor,
stubborn he
Disruptor
is.
is going Refresher. I don't see Jules getting a Lotus.
Maybe the Slaughter, he's getting up there.
Raging Potato may go down here. He's caught up bottom lane, has no BKB. This is real bad for him.
Really bad.
I mean, he
He's
has to
out
fight
by
his way out of
far.
here. Yeah.
And
He's dead.
no Chemical Rage. Actually had it up, but doesn't really matter.
This will be punished. This will be a buyback force.
That is actually a dieback. It's from a long time ago, but that's 2 minutes on the sideline here.
I mean, he's gonna
7
slam
minute
the,
waiting.
He's gonna slam the buyback button. It's okay.
Wait as long as possible, I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to push out these
Oh,
lanes, but they've
not
got to
if-
be careful not to get caught.
Wonder if they get cocky. If they group up for that combo, that would be amazing. The
He
ODs
did eat a moon shards at some point, by the way.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But when they actually got outside their base for once, that was the first thing that he did. But
For all the good it did him.
I think you actually buy back now, so you could force out the waves on bottom or mid, so you don't have to worry about defending it. He buys Heart now. Now what do you drop? Octarine? 'Cause
There's the
it's not-
refresher.
okay,
All right,
huge.
this is Jules. This is the Jules way.
He sells Butterfly.
He's not a support guy.
Alright, sells Butterfly, gets Heart. Okay. And then we're looking for the Venn diagram.
It
Let's
is
go.
mostly magic damage at this point. Black has been largely controlled every fight.
He's bait. He's like, come at me. I just bought back. I have no
That
way
is
back into
very
this game.
tempting. Slaughter going for the crush. He only finds X-Fight. 4-step down on the low ground. He'll get out, but now the Hex. Bimbo in a bit of trouble. 4-step back. Miracle saving him. And they will disengage
Yep, Tombstone committed on the high ground, so none of that
for
a
whatever
while.
it's worth at this stage. And Raging Potato holding the line.
Mid and bot is being pushed in again. Somebody needs to go defend that. Tier 4 is down to half HP.
They're just really all in on the good static storms, it feels like. That's the main way Mineski wins this right now.
Yeah, and the only way Miracle is moving right now is Pike. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger, so he doesn't have the full surprise factor. And I'm sure Faceless have got to have talked about it by now, and they're keeping themselves spaced out.
70 minutes in, stamina becomes a factor here for both of the teams.
I mean, loser has to play another best of 3.
Yeah.
This is not a BO5.
No, it's a BO3.
Right, exactly. So it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still like this is definitely where they are getting fatigued.
Yo, this tier 4 being sieged by that truck.
Meanwhile, though, Jabs just poking in, blast here and there where he can.
It's going down, man.
It's been up for like 20 minutes with a Pugna Jakiro. I don't think Jakiro scratched it in ages. There's the Decrepify, there's the Blink, the Crush as well. He's got the cheese, the Static Storm. Oh, no! Look for the refresher! Is he gonna get it off in time?
Where's
That's a
the
little
second
bit late. Black BKB'd. Oh, he got it off. That's not ideal. But still, he's gonna try to man fight Raging Potato, bringing him down. This is a dieback on the Alk. It looks like he's low. He's dead, and he's out for 2 minutes. Meanwhile, the Death Lord on the high ground. Miracle trying to make it back, but Black is charging in, going for the jugular now. Working on the melee racks at long last. Faceless have cracked them wide open. That second Static Storm just a bit too late. And that
Oh my
was
god.
the dagger into the heart of Mineski's hopes here in game number 1. But my god, the resilience of Faceless and Mineski, admirable effort from both. The favorites do prevail here in the best of 3, at least so far.
I mean, that could have been amazing. Like, if the Static Storm comes out before the BKB comes out from Slurk, if they're able to double it up the way they want to, like, that could have been completely the other direction. But unfortunately, Disruptor just wasn't there the way he needed to be. And, of course, Alchemist was already on his buyback. So, check becomes checkmate, and Faceless take the first game of this best of 3.
Woo! Well, that's a good